is episode number 110. This week in our movie of the week, we cover the movie X. But before we get into it, as always, I'm your host, David.
X gonna give it to you. What? Gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you. Arf, arf.
So are we skipping the synopsis this week? Because I feel like that's a pretty good synopsis.
Yeah, I just did it. So
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, we'll just dive straight into the box office rundown, and we'll do the spoiler zone, and then we'll call it a day.
Okay,
that was actually the whole podcast. I think we can wrap it.
Actually, thank you guys so much for joining us on another episode of Dos and a Half Cincos. Join us next week.
That bit never gets old where we end the podcast in the first 2 minutes.
That would actually be best if we actually ended it and they're like, but then you left it silent for the next 35 minutes.
Almost like somebody did on the last episode where there was just like 45 minutes of silence at the end.
And now is our 45 minutes of silence dedicated to those that have been listening to this podcast.
Who have lost their time listening to this podcast. We'd give that back to you. All right. Besides the movie, okay. Besides the movie of the week this week, Stu, what else did you see?
Oh, it's been kind of an uneventful week for me, I feel like.
Okay.
I did watch something though, and it just escapes me now. I've been watching things in like pieces now. Before I was never one of those people who would watch a movie in like chunks. But lately I've been doing that. I think the most recent movie I did that. Oh my god, hang on, it's in my Netflix history.
Is it a movie that you've seen before, or is this a brand new movie to you?
Are you singing the Wii menu music?
I was like, why does it sound so familiar? Why is that? And then you said it. It makes sense.
Wait, but Stuart's never even had a Nintendo Wii.
That's what you think. He just didn't want to play with you, Ben.
This wasn't recently, but I did watch it, and I never mentioned it. On Netflix, called Hell or High Water. I don't know if you guys seen that. It's pretty good.
I've heard of it.
It's pretty good. It's got Chris Pine and what's his name, Jeff Bridges.
Was it a cowboy movie or
no? It was just kind of like I mean, they're like Texas Rangers, so it kind of has that cowboy.
So it is a cowboy movie. Okay.
Well, not everything from Texas is cowboys.
But oh, really? Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
But this
Actually,
time
you're right. I can't. But I did watch that one. It was pretty cool. It was pretty good. It was another side of Chris Pine that you probably wouldn't know from just watching Star Trek. So, it was good to see Chris Pine not just playing Captain Kirk, aka himself. So, and then seeing Jeff Bridges playing the old cantankerous Western guy is always fun. So,
what? I've never seen that before.
Never has he ever played that role.
Did you ever feel like wanting to watch Yellowstone?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently it's also kind of like Western-y.
I mean, the movie's not a Western.
I heard the word Western enough. I'm believing that this is a Western. This is what it is. It's already a Western. We're
okay. It's a modern Western. There.
It's a modern Western.
Yeah.
But it's happening west of something, right?
It's a spaghetti Western.
I'm looking at the movie poster right now, and there's a lot of cowboy hats on it.
Does it meet the quota, Ben? Does it meet the quota?
Ben, you and Sean wear a lot of basketball sneakers, but you guys aren't basketball players, so
you don't know that.
I do know that, actually.
There's a subculture called hype beasts. I think that counts.
No, we just play for a really bad team. You probably never heard of them, the Lakers.
It hurts.
Shots fired. All right. What about you, Ben? Did you see anything else besides our movie of the week this week?
I did. I saw the movie Turning Red.
Didn't you see that a couple weeks ago, or you just finally saw it this week?
No, I just watched it recently. The animated movie with the red panda.
Shocker.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty good. I
Yeah,
saw
it
that
was
on
pretty
Friday
good.
as well.
Oh, what'd you think of it?
I liked it, but I feel like I don't know. Everything has like ancestral spirits. I feel like that is the only theme that they go with, right? Mulan with Mushu, unless it's the live
Hey! I'm
action.
not going to sit here and have you badmouth the classic
No,
Mulan.
what I'm saying is it's already been done. Come up with something new. Mulan already did it.
Oh, come on!
Move on to something else.
There's no new movie ideas anymore.
Excuse me, Hell or High Water, a modern spaghetti western. Nobody does that.
I said spaghetti western, but
Forget about it, western.
it's a spaghetti.
I don't know. Like I feel like it's the formula's already been laid out. I think it was good, but it's the messaging's a little
It's good, but it's
strange.
been done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty fresh for me. You know, it's
Pretty
good
fresh and hip.
yeah, pretty fresh pasta. You know, pretty fresh, right out of the boiling water.
You toss it in there with some of that pasta, the spaghetti water. You know,
Mwah.
Mamma mia.
I enjoy it, but the only reason you should ever defy your parents, because I'm sure my parents listen to this, is to become a doctor. So she did not do that.
Yeah, it's actually funny. There's been a lot of complaints about this movie because of what it depicts. You know, there's a lot of mentions of like periods and and rebelling against your parents, and I guess the two mixed together, you know, did not translate very well to some parents.
So what I gather from what David said, this movie is about a kid who says, "I'm not going to be you, mom and dad. I'm going to go be a doctor," or like
no.
Is it like the reverse Asian
kind of
stereotype?
Well, she disobeys because she wants to become her own person and doesn't want to be stuck into this like perfect straight A student mold of her mother, and it's
what an easy position to hold.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get straight A's. Like, okay.
No, there was one scene in it that I found really pretty funny where she hid all these things that she was trying to hide from her mom, like of her kind of dissenting, and one of the things was like a B+ on a test, and she was like,
"No, my favorite moment was the fact that there was a journal that kind of was slid out from underneath the bed skirt." And she's like, "Okay, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it."
Oh my god, that was a great scene.
She glimpses at it, and that's how Asian moms are. They have such eagle eyes. They're like, "Oh, I saw that twitch. What are you looking at? What are you hiding?" Yeah. And they nailed that like 100%.
I felt like I don't know, at least in relation to me, it did capture what it was like to have like an Asian parent or like an Asian childhood growing up. It's just like, holy fuck, you know.
Oh god, I'm getting triggered by this.
Yeah, I kind of was. I'm like, oh my god, I missed my band practice. I'm going to get fucking slapped across the face when I get home.
There's going to be a dent in my saxophone.
For any of our impressionable young Asian listeners going through issues with their parents, if you're going to get in trouble for a B+, you might as well get a D, you know?
You might as well just go all in.
Yeah,
might as well just enjoy it.
It'll be the same amount of trouble, so, you know.
Less effort.
Yeah. You won't feel completely worthless having tried your best just to get a B+ and then still get scolded.
Yeah, it's true. Never just half-ass trying to be good. Just don't try at all.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
this
but I feel
Uncle
like
Stu.
Yeah,
Uncle Stu's corner.
My biggest gripe is that you cannot solve your family's like your family not disowning, like your family disowning you in a Chinese, like an Asian family, in less than 48 hours. There's no way. That's my biggest gripe with it. Is that's what happened.
Yeah, you can. You could totally do it. You just disown them. There, problem solved. All right, moving on.
I got a question about disowning.
Okay,
I'm sure it's all come up in our lives at some point. Like, I don't think other cultures resort to the big D word,
yeah,
so quickly or even at all.
or the threat of taking away your last name because you are not worthy of it.
Like, it's like you're being excommunicated back in like the Middle Ages or something. Like, I don't know if any other culture goes from like 1 to 10 so quickly and often.
I feel like every generation before us had like the disown card ready to go, like at a moment's notice. You know, they had it all written out. They've thought about it in the shower, and as soon as it came up, bam,
Yeah,
disown.
they put a lot of thought into when they're gonna use it, or like it's like when
Well,
they're
they
learning.
printed extra copies of that. Like they hand it out like candy.
Yeah, maybe something didn't translate well from like Eastern to Western culture, and so like they brought this idea of disowning, like they really latched onto it. But maybe it's like inconceivable where it's like you keep using that word, but I don't think it means what you think it means.
No, we're disowning him. Like I know in my family, everyone was going crazy with that. It was like playing like fucking Uno, and the whole deck is like draw fours, you know.
Disown.
Oh yeah, well I'm going to disown you. No, I'm disowning you, man. And it just keeps stacking, and we never know who started it.
And whoever that doesn't have one is going to get it played on them.
You need to carry your +4 wild card.
+4 disown.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I mean, it's nice that we get to see a lot more of just Eastern culture, kind of like represented. But
yeah, actually, with that film, I'm actually liking this trend that they're going with a lot of animated, like Western animated films, where it's becoming a little more cartoonish. You know, like in the past, with like Pixar or something, they've always tried to like still give it a cartoon feel, but like lean towards more photorealism or something. But now it's going in the opposite direction, where it's more just cartoonish, like physics and whatnot, and just I don't know how else to describe it other than like more towards like Tom and Jerry almost, you know?
Yeah. Like zany, like over the top, like unrealistic, completely unrealistic. Like, oh, I'm gonna pull a giant mallet out of my back pocket.
Kind of like that, yeah. Like this is kind of trending into that. Pixar's previous film Luca also was kind of leaning into that as well, and I feel like a lot of other animations or animated movies coming out are kind of going in that direction too, which is kind of cool. Like there was a trailer that came out for, surprisingly, what was it? A new Puss in Boots movie, because everyone wanted that.
Isn't Lawrence Pugh like attached to it?
Who?
Florence Pugh.
That's
Pugh?
not who played Puss in Boots.
No, I know it's Antonio Banderas, but
of Desperado fame.
I'm sure. I thought I swore I saw something like she was attached to the movie or something like that.
I have no idea. I just know that they're making a new one, and the animation looks like completely different than like
the Shreks
what they used to do. Yeah, it's definitely just a lot more cartoonish. And I want to say, like, this is tinfoil hat conspiracy time. Welcome to the conspiracy corner.
What do you mean? This entire podcast is a conspiracy.
Oh, welcome to the conspiracy podcast. I'm
implying this podcast doesn't exist,
or do we exist? Join us next time.
If we exist, you can join us next time.
I want to say that a lot of this this pull to go towards a more like stylized animation kind of stemmed from them when Into the Spider-Verse came out, really.
A while ago.
Yeah, no, and it takes a while to get these ideas off the ground, but I think that because of how well it did and how it was so positively received, a lot of people are kind of going in that direction, which is really cool.
Oh yeah, I used to like it when my cartoons were cartoons.
Yeah, I don't want like fucking Uncanny Valley bullshit.
Yeah,
you know? Like we had enough.
Lion King.
Oh my god.
That wasn't.
Did you watch that?
Animated?
Did you watch that, David?
Which one?
The Lion King?
No, I never got around to it just because I heard so many bad things about it. I didn't want to relive my traumatic childhood.
Yeah, I don't know.
My B pluses. No, you don't get to watch Lion King again because you got a B plus. What?
I got a D once in junior high. I don't remember in another time in my life where I've been more scared.
Your life flashed before your eyes.
Like having, and not only did I get a D, it was one of those Ds where I had to go take it and get it signed.
Get
by
signed.
Oh. You didn't just forge a signature like the rest
No,
of
because
us?
then
No,
the fear of
they
getting
handwrite
caught
check
doing
it.
that
That's right.
was already was even like I was already at a bad point, so like I didn't want to make it worse.
I think they also send you home with a note or something like that, right?
Yeah, I had to get it. I had to get the thing signed and then bring it back to the teacher.
You're not
See-
going on any field trips, little Stuart,
Yeah.
because you can't. You got a D.
I think it was
See,
history.
what you do is you just watch your parents sign checks, and then you memorize the exact strokes that they do it in.
Yeah.
Now, if they start saying letters home, what you do is you try to anticipate when it's actually coming in the mail, and you always volunteer to get the mail for your parents. That way, you can intercept.
Well,
You know?
A
that was
D is
always
easily turned into a B. You
Yeah.
need to go do something.
sounds
You
like
need
there's
to
a
get
lot of
an F,
experience
and-
on the other side of the microphone here.
Yeah, I know from experience.
The statute of limitations of getting spanked at this point are way past. Okay, mom, dad, whatever.
Maybe we should have a separate offshoot podcast where we just talk about Asian things.
Asian.
I don't. Actually, it was. You guys ever heard of the comedian Ronnie Chang?
He sounds Asian.
Well,
He doesn't
he's
he's not Uncle.
no. That's not.
No.
He's not Uncle
He's on
Roger.
the Daily Show, right?
I think so. Sometimes he'll come up, but
Uncle Roger. That's what I was thinking.
yeah. So I was
Yeah.
I saw the trailer for Turning Red, and that like kind of went down this rabbit hole. Ronnie Chen was describing how to do IT for his mom, like doing like figuring out how to fix her computer and her phone over a phone call, because he's here in the States and he's in Australia, but she's in Malaysia. And so he's just like, if you need me to give away secrets, that's the biggest torture, is trying to help your parent on doing any IT stuff over the phone. Like I'll send you guys the clip, but it was pretty funny. Just remind me of that. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we jump over to the box office? There's kind of no surprises here. Any thoughts, questions? No? Okay. All right. At number one for the third week in a row, The Batman with $36 million, bringing its total gross to $300 million domestically. Number two, Jujutsu Kaisen O, the movie, with $14 million.
Stop pretending you don't know how to pronounce it. You've pronounced it right the last month.
What is it? Jujutsu?
Okay, so let me tell you about Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
Ben, what is this movie about, anyways?
I
That
think he touched
You would tell me. You're the one who always brings it up every.
I only
fucking
know
week.
Jujutsu as a fighting
I don't
style.
even think it's spelt the same.
No, it's not. I just know that is that, but that's not what it is.
So, David, why don't you tell us how the movie was, since you went to go see it?
So no, I'm just kidding. A high schooler who gains control of an extremely powerful cursed spirit and gets enrolled in a Tokyo prefectural jujutsu high school by jujutsu sorcerers. No, that's way too many uses of. It's like define the word gullible with the word gullible. Control his power, keep an eye on whatever. Number three is Uncharted with 7.8 million. Number four is our movie of the week, X, 4.4 million. Number five, Dog. Number six, Spider-Man No Way Home with 3.1 million, bringing its grand total to $797 million domestically. Number seven, Death on the Nile. Number eight, The Outfit. Number nine, The Kashmir Files. And number 10, down from 8, Sing 2.
Woo!
Falling out of the top 10 is Jackass Forever and Scream. Thank you for playing. Comments, questions, concerns?
I think it's time for Marvel to call it a wrap. I don't think they're not going to get to $1 billion domestic.
I mean, the movie's still in the top 10. Is there a reason to pull it prematurely? I mean, even though it is already
prematurely,
on,
it's been like 2 months.
It's also on Blu-ray and stream. You could rent it at home now.
I've never heard of a movie still being in theaters while simultaneously being available.
If you can milk the theater experience, why not? I mean, it's still outperforming The Death on the Nile, a movie that's been out for 6 weeks, and a brand new movie, with that only grossed $915,000. So I don't think there's a reason why they should pull it if people don't have access to Blu-ray players or streaming services wherever they're at in the country.
There's still some meat on them bones. Come on, keep eating.
Did either of you watch Arrested Development?
Yeah.
You could take those bones home and make a soup.
No, take those bones, put it in a pot, and baby, you got stew going.
Okay. Just some things of note. Do either of you have any interest in seeing the Moon Knight stuff coming out next week?
Maybe. I'm not like super crazy about it. Like when it comes out, I'll watch it, but it's not like I'm counting down the days until it happens. You know.
I mean, it's Oscar Isaac, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out.
I mean, I know Oscar. Well, apparently Ethan Hawke's also in this as well. Ethan Hawke.
Ethan McCock.
But what do you guys know about Moon Knight? Because I know nothing about this.
I know nothing also.
Marvel IP.
Bowie has already educated me a little bit about him.
Okay, please share for the rest of us.
Apparently, he has multiple personalities, and they all operate within one body, and so something about that makes him Moon Knight.
Sounds like you weren't paying attention when Bowie was explaining it.
Yeah, just
sometimes he'll moon other people.
That's great, Bowie. Yeah, okay.
One of his multiple personalities is a senile 80-year-old man who just happens to just get naked no matter what, and he moons people. Therefore, Moon Knight, done.
Yeah, okay, Bowie, whatever. Are we playing fucking Guilty Gear now?
Blast Blue. Oh yeah, speaking of fighting games, you got your Steam Deck. What has the review been on that so far, or is it still in progress?
Steam Deck. It's pretty great. I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring on it, surprisingly, and it's surprisingly good. Like how well it runs a game like Elden Ring. Actually, I want to say it runs it better than my PC.
Yeah.
Stu, here's your answer. You can get a Steam Deck. You can get a Steam Deck.
I was actually surprised because I wasn't really paying attention, and Steam was like, "Hey, do you want to reserve? Put a deposit on a Steam Deck?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, if it's $5, whatever." And then Ben was like, "I got mine already." I'm like, "What?" And then I was like, "Oh, I guess they're doing batches or something." So
yeah,
they really wanted to get the fighting community on board first.
But my problem's going to be, though, is that they'll probably send me an email on like a Friday afternoon saying, "Hey, you got 72 hours to buy your thing." And then on Monday, I'll check my email at work, and it'll be like, "Oh, there you go. You missed your window." I'm like, "Oh, you dicks."
Yeah, I know. I feel like that part was really stupid. Like, as soon as they announced, like, "Oh, you only have 72 hours to respond to this random email that'll come with no notice," you know?
Yeah.
That's probably going to be flagged for spam or automatically thrown away or deleted.
Yeah, and then like if you don't get it, you lose your spot and you have to wait another year or some shit. It's just like, okay, let me wait for this one random day for my ex-girlfriend to call, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean it's pretty good. I definitely recommend anyone who is looking for like a mobile gaming experience to like get one.
I was like waiting. I was like, "What fucking Switch? Are you gonna come out with the second one?" Like, I know if the second I buy a regular Switch, the Switch 2 or some shit's gonna come out.
No, they're not gonna. They didn't release the OLED just to be able to replace it again. Trust me, it's you could buy it so you can launch the second one.
And I heard rumors that people have been able to emulate Switch games on it better than the Switch. So it's just like, what's the point? Yeah, but it's really cool because you could actually use it as a PC as well. You know, like it runs Linux, and you're able to freely switch between like the Steam OS and the Linux version. And you could just plug it into like a monitor and use like a Bluetooth keyboard, Bluetooth mouse, or you could even plug in, your.
It's like a docking station, doesn't it?
Not yet, which is really stupid. I think they said, "Oh yeah, it's coming later." It's just like, oh, okay.
Don't worry, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. You could use whatever USB-C hub you want on it, but there's no official dock for it yet. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I recommend it.
Is it heavier? I know this is going to date me, but is it lighter or heavier than a Game Gear?
Oh my god! Well, there's the $1 million question.
Well, it
Is it
depends.
heavy?
How many batteries do you need to be able to play 1 hour?
Do you run it on the AC adapter only, or do you got the 8 AA's in there?
The 8 AA's got you what, 30 minutes if you got lucky? But then if you ran the AC adapter, anything past 45 minutes, the thing got so hot.
Man,
So-
you're all are amateurs. I just carried my Sega Genesis.
Did you also carry a TV?
Did you not?
CRT, that's what little sisters and brothers are for. Carry this, I'm playing.
Come on, I really got to beat Emerald Hill. Or what the fuck was it?
Well, speaking of which, Sonic is coming out in 2 weeks.
I got my tickets already. Yeah.
Who the fuck pre-purchases tickets?
Are you kidding me? Jim Carrey? Are you kidding me? Idris Elba and Jim Carrey on the same screen.
Oh man, be still my heart.
Okay, all right, let's go over to our movie of the week this week. It is X. If you listen to the intro at all, we're not even going to bother telling you guys what's.
But here it is
happening.
again.
Yeah.
X Gon Give to
What?
I think that perfectly sums up this movie. So we might as well just go into scores.
You know, I'm thinking of changing my score now based on the fact that they did not use that song in the credits.
Ooh.
Sorry, spoilers.
It threw dogs in this movie.
If the end of that movie just like the way that it cut like pretty hard to the credits, if they would have just cut directly into that song, that would have that would have been it. That would have been the pinnacle of filmmaking.
If their budget instantly doubled because they had to use that over whatever they
That's why everything was so low budget. They had to get it. You spend the money on the
grainy song. Because it's supposed
to. It's
be
avant-garde. Sorry. All right. Let's.
Okay. Stu, score.
I give it an 8. It was a really good movie. I didn't really know what to expect going into it. I just knew that it was the basic synopsis that it was a movie about some people trying to make an adult picture show.
Ben and Miri
in a horror.
Ben and Miri.
Oh, I'm sorry, Zach and Miri.
It was Ben and Miri.
What, do I really sound like that?
Letty's gonna be like, who the fuck is Miri? Yeah, it like we kind of made a comment where it was like, Zach and Miri make a porno combined with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which wasn't far from.
Yeah, that was actually pretty accurate. Yeah. That's kind of scary how accurate that was.
It was pretty dead on, I'd have to say. But in a good way. I mean, those are both good movies, so they're combining them. They did a pretty good job. Typically, the stuff in the 70s, I was kind of like not a big fan of 70s aesthetic, but I think in this context, I think it worked really well. And it was like the tail end of the 70s, so it wasn't all gross. But yeah, I mean I know it was one of those A24 pictures I noticed. Which it made sense to me why Ben wanted to see this so eagerly. But yeah, I mean, all the acting, the horror had a pretty good feel to it. So yeah, there you go.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, like going with that A24 stuff, I was surprised because I was kind of picturing this to be a little more out there, a little more, I guess, artsy,
a little more midsummery.
Almost, yeah. It's like, but this was
you wanted
definitely
it to be bad.
Huh?
You wanted it to be bad?
Why not? But this was a pretty straightforward movie, which was pretty cool. But it also works on the other end of the spectrum too, which was really cool. I think it was a really fun movie, and it doesn't take itself too seriously.
For sure.
But at the same time, it was like it also has really cool shots. It has great performances, like Stu said, and it actually has a lot of cool tributes to other great horror films as well. Like you were saying, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it actually makes a lot of references to that movie, like even with like some of the shots that they make and some of the the camera movement. It's really really cool. There were a few small gripes here and there, but for me, I don't think it hurt the overall movie. It definitely felt like a the Superman ride at like Six Flags. Like all it is just like the climb for the first 2 acts, right? And then bam, third act, it's just fucking drop, and it's just all tension, and it's just like it starts really rolling when it well, I don't want to spoil it, but
when it pops off.
Yeah, when it pops off, it goes. It's just like, oh fuck. So yeah, just straight anxiety and tension all the way until the end. And let me tell you, the ending, that was really the cherry on top for me. That the way that it all just went down, real chef's kiss, Mamma Mia, spicy meatball, mwah. I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay. Well, I'm in the same vein as Stu. I had some based on the fact that this was kind of built as Zack and Miri and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
We did that.
We had
that was our doing.
Yeah. Well, because like that's the thing is like I actually thought it was Summer Glau at the front of the poster. I was like, oh, she's in this movie. Completely wrong. That was not her. But yeah, but it was kind of like what Ben was saying. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it also kind of delivers what you're expecting, and in a good way, right? It's not like all just fan service essentially, but there is some fan service, and I thought it was pretty good for a slasher film. That
if you're a fan of porno, there's
fan service and blood. You will not be disappointed. 8 out of 10. All right, that's just as far as I'm gonna go. All right, guess we'll jump over to the spoiler zone because I know it seems like Ben's about to erupt if he doesn't finish. All right, so Ben, what was on your mind?
Well, I don't know. I think like there were a lot of direct references to other horror movies, which was kind of cool. The opening shot, it kind of was cool that it framed like the it didn't like I know like throughout the movie it jumped between like what were they shooting for the porn versus like what was actually going on, and the aspect ratio constantly changed from like 3 or 4:3 to whatever the standard is right now. I don't remember, but at the beginning they like kind of forced the 4:3 aspect ratio, which is cool with the barn doors that they were shooting out of. But then you slowly realize, oh wait, I'm looking out from the barn. And so that was kind of cool how they set that up. But it was also a reference to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, using like the same kind of shot, which was really cool. And then I thought it was just like a happy coincidence from there. But then they actually mentioned, the movie Psycho by name. And there were some parts in it that definitely, was ripped almost like directly from Psycho, like how the two murderers, the old couple, they pretty much kill people and then they take the people's cars and dump it into the lake. And the way that they do it is like almost exactly like
shot for shot.
Yeah, from Psycho, which was really cool. They even had this the scene where the main actress, she was swimming back to the docks away from the crocodile or the gator. What's the difference? I don't know. But she was swimming away.
Oh, yeah. Crocodiles are fully armored, but alligators are smaller.
But yeah, that top-down view, they had a very similar shot in Psycho for that as well. And I think they had a reference to The Shining when Jenny Ortega's character, the girl that was locked in the cellar, she was taking that axe to the door. Yeah, that was exactly like Shining. Like they even did the camera tracking the same way too, where they focused the camera on the swing of the axe. So and the way that she broke through the door, same as The Shining. So yeah, I mean, there was just a lot of different references throughout the movie. So I think it was, you could definitely view it as like, oh, this is such a dumb fun film, but at the same time it's like, wow, they put a lot of thought into this. There's a lot of background work going on in here. It's not like they're just turning it out and hoping something magical happens. No, it's like this is like a tribute to a lot of great horror films, a lot of what's that term, sexploitation films, like back in the 70s and all that. And like the post-credit scene was actually really funny too. You know?
God damn it!
What?
I was like, "There's not going to be a post-credit scene." I'm out of here.
It's like, why would there be a sequel to this movie? So why was there a point of having
But
that?
then I was telling myself, "This is not a Marvel." I was telling myself specifically, not everything's a Marvel movie.
You know, actually, I missed it too. But then I was like reading like a whole bunch of reviews online, and they're like, "Oh, the post-credit scene's great." I'm like, "Fuck!" You know.
You
Yeah.
always have to check during the credits, just in case if there is one.
Yeah, that's very true. I never learned my lesson. But yeah, the post-credit scene's online. I don't want to spoil it for you, Stu, but it's pretty.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
At
You
this
don't want to
point-
spoil something for me?
Oh yeah, you're welcome. So, David, are you caught up on Walking Dead? So, anyways,
Wait, there's another person who watches. There's another person who watches, man.
but yeah, I really think like that everything that happens in the film is just so fun, you know? Like it's definitely trying to ask those questions like, oh, what does the audience kind of like want to see but also wince at, right? Like, oh, a lot of gore. Yeah, we got that. Like, oh, like some really weird sex scenes where like it's cutting between like, oh, it's a porno versus like the camera crew kind of just sitting around kind of like, oh, all right, now move your hips up. It's just like so that was kind of fun. And then like old people fucking, it's just like, oh god.
Yeah.
It's just like
That part I was like, all right, this is gay.
That's enough.
I think implication is would be better here.
oh, you have to watch. You have to.
No.
It's like what they said at the beginning or near the beginning of the film. It's like a beautiful car wreck that you can't look away from.
I don't know about beautiful, but
oh, it's beautiful.
actually it was a Foxy car wreck
Ooh.
because it's the 70s.
Yeah, and
And we say Foxy.
Foxy. But I was surprised at how well Kid Cudi played his part. I'm just like, damn, that guy. He's got chops, and he's packing heat. Holy shit!
That was a rapper? I didn't realize.
Yeah, Kid Cudi.
I thought that scene was pretty funny. It reminded me of the Boondocks. I don't know if you ever watched the Boondocks, but
I was not allowed to watch the Boondocks.
that came out.
I remember that has come up before.
You were in like post high school, and that show was like popping.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was when I was in high
Anyways,
school.
I started watching it when I was in college, but anyways, there was an episode where one of the characters is having a nightmare about being sent to prison and getting raped in the shower, and there's like this huge black guy, and his dick's like just like this huge fucking serpent giant. And so they did like the same thing, and when he's like standing there in the doorway, like
Yeah.
he's like, okay, like okay, it's like comically,
Yeah.
like...
Oh my god. And I like how they actually what he was chastising the old man, being like, "Hey, that's you're packing a lot of heat right now." It's just like, "Damn, look at you, man." He's very confident.
Yes, I mean
He should
be, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, I really liked one of the opening scene, which was actually one of the reasons why I like kind of lowered my score, because like the opening scene reminded me of how the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake they did in like 2003 or 6 or whenever it was, how the movie started and ended, where there's kind of like the way that movie started was like it's like it's grainy black and white footage of a kind of like the same thing where the police are kind of like going over the aftermath, and so I got that that same vibe. And if you haven't seen the 2003, or I forget what year, it's Jessica Alba, I think, Biel, I can't remember, is in it. I really liked how that movie ends. Like it's got a really good ending. So I got the same kind of vibe, or I was getting ready for that same kind of thing in this movie. But then when it cut back to the end, where the kind of the sheriffs or deputies are going over the aftermath, it just kind of it didn't really like end on that kind of same note. So I guess I got myself worked up for something that wasn't going to happen. But I did like how like all the callbacks to these other movies, especially like the likes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I got the same kind of feel from the like old people there, like the two old people there. I was a little confused, and maybe you guys know. I still wasn't really convinced as to like what their motivation, or at least the old lady's motivation, was for trying to like keep the one girl, or was she trying to like keep her so she could be her, or what was do you know, the guys have any ideas there?
I only have a guess, and it was just that she just had an inkling of an idea that like, hey, there's something special about this girl. I don't know what it is, but there's something special, and the only reason she thought she was special was because they had that taped rerun of that sermon going on, and her face shows up in it because I guess she's the pastor's daughter, right?
Right. Yeah, I
And
couldn't.
that was the only thing I could piece together, honestly.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't tell if like there was like a thing that they did to like, if there was something more going to be more supernatural about this movie, where like they're trying to like
they're the same,
capture these young kids and we suck the life out of them so we can be young again or something. I think that's been done before.
I think that would have probably made it into like, because this movie could have easily turned into like one of those like B movie flicks that we see that like try to be scary, or they try to be also like funny, but they also try to be kind of artsy. And I think that like if they had that angle, it probably would have tipped the scale that direction. So maybe that's why they didn't go that way. I'm thinking maybe.
I also really liked the guy who was like the executive producer, like how he's like we got Matthew McConaughey at home kind of guy. Like I just liked how the way he like the way he was just like carrying himself on throughout all the situations, but then also I was like, oh no, the eye thing, oh that's the worst for me.
Oh yeah, oof.
Why would you? I would never, even if it's not in a scary barn, put my face up to eye holes like that.
Yeah, as soon as he said like, oh man, as soon as they see this film, their eyes are gonna be popping out their skulls. And then as soon as they showed those little holes in the barn, I was like, oh no, oh no.
Also, he's like, oh man, people are gonna feel how hard my cock is.
Oh my god, that scene was great. Holy shit,
dying.
I'm so amped.
All right. Any other thoughts on X, guys?
That was a good movie.
All right. Great.
I wish I think the other thing too. I wanted to see more from the base. I feel like the basement scene was like it led up to like it had a really big build up to like what was going to be down there, and I feel like I either wanted to see more or it wasn't enough for me.
Yeah, that was like part of why I kind of docked some points on this movie, just because it was like at the beginning of the movie they did kind of build up that there was something horrific or something was down there, but all you know is that there was that other hippie guy that they chained up down there,
right?
And I don't know, I feel like, oh, that's it. Okay.
I guess I was expecting a way bigger payoff. Instead of just like, oh, it's a dead body, or like if something else was going to happen and they were going to show it at the end of the movie. That's kind of where I was going. So, but yeah, in general, it's a good movie.
Yeah,
good movie. Would watch again.
Okay, well, I'll just have to wait till it hits like HBO Max or Netflix or something. I don't know.
Well,
do you think it'll show up on one of those?
I don't know. I have no idea for like A24 films, but the post-credit scene I know they put on YouTube, so you could probably just watch that there.
Was Uncut Gems an A24 movie?
Yes,
also?
that was.
Yeah, so that one ended up on Netflix also. So
ooh, okay.
They definitely are willing to take some swings on some like not blockbuster type movies. It seems like they're willing to be a little bit more. No, A24.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's like A24's whole thing. It's more of the art house type of movies.
Okay. And one other thought, just because this was gun related. Although I do like how the stylization of having the old lady like fly through the door and like basically break her hip falling down the steps or whatever.
Yeah.
At that last scene, I think realistically, she probably would have been knocked over, but not through the door flying
Unless
the
she
way
was like what, half a pound or something like that.
Yeah.
I like this reality
But
better.
I do appreciate the stylization of it, because it kind of added some extra oomph to like the scene where it's like there's like, oh my god, there's no bullets in this gun, I'm about to get shot, and then she just flies out the door.
Yeah, it took me like a half second to realize what had just happened. You know, I'm just like, oh, she's fucked, and then it's just like, oh.
It's kind of like when that girl goes running out from the basement and then just
Oh
gets
man,
blasted.
that was also great. Holy fuck, that was such a bait and switch. It's just like, all right, lady, later, lady. It's just like, bam. It's just like, holy fuck. And then her death rattle. Holy shit.
Yeah. She gets the kill.
I know. From beyond the grave. Oh my god.
Alrighty.
Death rattle plus 1 damage to old man.
Old man, 1 HP.
He's a 1-in-1.
Alrighty. So join us next week as we cover in our movie of the week, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. As always, I have been your host, David.
And I'm Stuart.
And I am Ben.
Out of here.
Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're getting your podcasts. We're available on SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Google, and Apple Podcasts. And also check us out on Twitch at twitch.tv/DosDamnCincos. Don't forget to tip your Reiki master. Stay safe out there, and we will see you guys on the next one. Okay, bye.
Bye.